we're diving into what's basically an ancient architectural plan, a blueprint from the Bible for its most sacred space. But buried in all those details is this fascinating textual puzzle, a real mystery about a single object that somehow seems to be in two places at once. So let's get right into it. The mystery is this. One of the most important pieces of holy furniture seems to be in two completely different rooms, depending on which part of the Bible you're reading. Now, how is that even possible? Is it just a simple mistake, a typo, or is there something more going on here?
To even begin to unpack this, we've got to go way back, thousands of years, and really understand the setting, the construction of this incredible portable temple known as the tabernacle. Okay, so let's look at the layout. The tabernacle was, for all intents and purposes, a special tent, but it was split into two main sections. First, you had the holy place, which was kind of the outer chamber, and then behind a big, heavy curtain, you had the most holy place, the real inner sanctum. And this division is absolutely crucial because getting into that inner room was super restricted. It was considered the most sacred spot on earth.
Now, this whole mystery, it really boils down to the location of just one object, the golden altar of incense. And just to be clear, this wasn't for animal sacrifices or anything like that. This is where they burned this beautiful, fragrant incense, which was meant to symbolize the prayers of the people rising up to God. So yeah, where it was placed was a pretty big deal.
All right, let's pull up our first piece of evidence. This one comes from the New Testament, from the book of Hebrews, which gives a description of that original tabernacle layout.
And the text here is super specific. It says that behind the curtain, inside that most holy place, that's where you'd find the golden altar of incense. It puts it right there, smack in the middle of that inner sanctum. No ambiguity.
Okay, so let's lock that in. Clue number one from Hebrews is crystal clear. The altar belongs in the most exclusive, most sacred room, the inner sanctum, tucked away behind the veil. Got it? Okay, remember that. But hang on, what about the original blueprints? I mean, let's jump back to the Old Testament, to the book of Exodus, and see the actual instructions God gave to Moses for building this thing.
So this passage is describing Moses, physically putting the tabernacle together. And just look at the wording here. It says he puts the golden altar before the veil. Not behind it, before it.
And there it is, our second clue. And it totally contradicts the first one. The original plans in Exodus place the altar in the holy place, the outer room, with all the other furniture. It's on the outside of that curtain looking in.
And this, right here, is where our little architectural mystery gets really interesting. We've got one altar, but a tale of two completely different rooms.
I mean, this just lays it all out, side by side. Hebrews 9 says the altar is in the most holy place. Exodus 40 says it was placed before the veil, in the holy place. They can't both be physically correct, right? So what gives?
So what are we supposed to make of this? Well, let's take a look at the conclusion drawn by the author of our source material, who analyzed this very discrepancy.
First things first, the source author points out the obvious. There's really no ambiguity here. The two texts just flat out disagree on where this altar was supposed to be. They don't try to sugarcoat it or make them fit.
And from that disagreement, the source makes a pretty bold claim. They argue that the author of Hebrews, simply made a mistake. That this error shows a lack of Torah knowledge. Basically meaning they weren't familiar enough with the original foundational texts in Exodus that laid out the tabernacle's design in the first place.
And this is where this little detail about a piece of furniture blows up into something huge. The source's author uses this apparent mistake about where the altar goes to make a much, much larger point. They challenge the divine authority of the New Testament text itself. They conclude that because of errors like this one, it is not the word of God.
So we're left with this incredible puzzle. You've got an ancient blueprint, two different descriptions, and a major theological challenge that comes from this one discrepancy. And it really leaves us with a critical question, doesn't it? How are we supposed to understand textual contradictions like this today? And how much weight should a single detail, like the placement of an altar, really carry when we're looking at a sacred text?